Good morning, book friends. This is Kat, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my mid-year book tag video, and this one I'm going to do a little differently just because I had switched a little bit of the questions up, but I am behind on this video, so hopefully I can do this in one shot. But let's go ahead and jump into the tag. So the first question that I have is, what is the best book I've read so far this year? And this one is actually a surprise because it is a classic, and that is The Return of the King, which is the third book in the Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one is a surprise because I am usually not a classic reader, like read classic books in general, and lately this year I have read a classic book almost every month, so it just happened that way with the game. But yes, this one was so surprising just because not only is it a classic, but it is a high fantasy book. It is like over 20 hours on audio, and yet I found myself really enjoying this book. I actually really prefer the books, this book and book two, over the movies in Lord of the Rings, which is saying a lot because I really love the Lord of the Rings movies. All right, best sequel. Aside from Lord of the Rings, I want to put The Locket's Revenge by Ellie Richmond, and this is the second book in her Mermaid Tales series. That book was just incredible. There was a lot of twists and turns, and I've actually buddy read this with Celestria and Tay at Tales and Treats with Tay, and I'll link them below. But it was so fun just getting to talk with them about the book, and when the twists came, it was fun to just hear each other's reactions. And I think that also really it heightened the enjoyment of the experience of this book for me. So I will say it is pretty dark, but I don't know. I didn't think it was like that detailed, at least from what I remembered. But it was pretty dark, but it was a great time. All right, the third question is, what new release I haven't read yet, but I still want to read this year. And this one I picked The Fur Trader's Lady by Gabriel Meyer. I'm trying to read all of her books, all of her backlist books too. So I have a lot of contemporary books right now that this author did write. So this one I haven't read yet. Number 4 says the most anticipated read for this year. And I have 3, and these are basically auto read authors for me. One of them is Amanda Cox, and the book that I'm referring to is The Bitter End Birding Society. I will say Amanda Cox titles for her books are kind of hard sometimes for me to like say, and I don't know why, they just are. But this one's coming out in August. Through Each Tomorrow, this is the 6th book in Gabriel Meyer's Timeless series, and it's coming out in November, roughly. And then also what's set to be coming out in November is The Royal Artisan, and this is by Tessa F. Shar, and it's the 2nd book in the Queen Esther's Court series. So those are my top 3 anticipated books this year. Number 5 says, my biggest disappointment of the year. This one was a bit tough. Of course, I have DNF'd quite a few books, but some of the DNFs that I did, I wasn't really anticipating them to be like 5-star or 4-star reads. So they were just kind of added on to my TBR. But the first book I want to talk about, I guess, when I first thought about this question, is a nonfiction book, and that is called The Gospel of Mark, A Beginner's Guide to the Good News by Amy Jill Levine. And I actually got this in a little free library earlier this year. This book I picked up because around like April into May, I was really struggling with my Bible reading. I just couldn't like get into the word, and I was just wanting to go back to the basics. And so when I found this book, I thought this book was going to lean more towards like new believers in faith, and just kind of reminding me about the gospel, because I figured I just needed to go back to the basics. And so when I picked this book up, I was really expecting that. But as I read the book, it wasn't what I thought it was, and it just was more detailed than what I was looking for. And I just wanted simplicity, I guess. So that's why I picked it as a disappointment, because I came in thinking it was one thing and it just didn't turn out that way. So I'm not saying it's a bad book or anything, it was just not what I expected. So that's why I picked this one. One was a Christian contemporary, and this one, honestly, I have hit or misses as well. I'm not a contemporary reader just because a lot of the tropes that are in contemporary books are just tropes that I personally find annoying, and I have a very higher expectation when it comes to Christian contemporary. So this one is A Girl's Guide to the Outback by Jessica Kate, and it's classified as Christian fiction. And so I did go into this thinking it needed to be more faith-based, and I guess certain things that I would see in secular books, I guess I don't think should be in Christian fiction, at least not as it being like accepted or okay, if that makes sense. And so from my memory of the book is there were just a lot of interesting words, choices, sentence choices, descriptive choices, or things that were brought up that I felt that weren't really necessary. And I don't remember if it was just me feeling like it checked a box or something. I'm not sure, but I just knew that some of the writing choices I was just not a fan of. And so that was the reason why. All right, biggest surprise of the year. So aside from Lord of the Rings, I would say The Mermaid's Tale by Ellie Richmond, because it is YA. There is an age gap, and there were, I don't know, this was not on my priority list to read until I found that Celestia and Tay were doing a buddy read, and I really wanted to join in on a buddy read. So I ended up really liking it. So that was a big surprise. I would also say The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, another classic. And again, this wasn't a high priority. I had to find a book for Alma's challenge. I ended up really enjoying it. So those were the biggest surprises of the year. Number 7 says newest favorite author, debut, or new to me. I also wrote in parentheses. And so I wouldn't say this person is a favorite author yet, because I've only read 2 books from this author, but I'm very interested in more from this author, and that is Ellie Richmond, because of the great time I had with The Mermaid's Tale. All right, number 8 says a favorite male character. This one has to go to either Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which, I mean, I always knew Samwise Gamgee was a favorite for me, and Faramir, which, yeah, I don't believe the movies give him the amount of like credit I feel like he deserves, especially in these books. I really liked Faramir as a favorite male character. And I know the question is like favorite fictional crush or newest fictional crush. I just changed it to favorite male character. So anyways, Faramir and Samwise Gamgee. Samwise Gamgee, I believe, really did save Middle-earth. That's all I'm going to say. All right, number 9 is your favorite character, and I decided to kind of lean more to find a favorite female character. And so I have Eowyn from the Lord of the Rings series, because I think she was just amazing in the book. And I want to say Sophia and Shelter of the Most High. This one, she was one of my favorites in that book. Number 10 says book that made me cry. I also put an emotional read. I normally don't cry in books, but I did get misty-eyed in the Lord of the Rings book. There were just several scenes in there. And I would say Her Mother's Hope by Francine Rivers. That was super emotional for me. And I think it's just because of the mother-daughter dynamic. So number 11 says, made a book that made me happy. I would have to say Little Men. That book is just a nice, fun read, even though not all the content in it is happy. There's some sad moments, but it's just an overall feel-good read for me. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Number 12 is the most beautiful book that I've bought or received. And for that, I'm going to pick Every Hour Until Then by Gabriel Meyer, because this book is absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I love all her book covers. So that one I did receive this year. Number 13 is a book I need to read before the year is up. Well, I do have quite a few books, and I'm just going to refer to my reading journal at this point of the video. And so I'm going to go through my 20 and 2025 list. And so let's get there. Real briefly, out of the 20 books that I am supposed to read in 2025, I just have to read 10 more. So some of them I'll put pictures up, and some of them I have, but one of the books I need to read is The Charm Bracelet by Viola Shipman. Another book that I have to read is The Divine Proverb of Streusel by Sarah Brunsfold. Another one is It Takes a Church to Raise a Parent by Rachel Turner. Another one is The Curse of Chalon by Louis McMaster Bujold, I believe. Another one is Digging for Diamonds by Kathy Madivan. Lulu's Cafe by T.I. Lowell. Wish-Tree by Catherine Applegate. Heartwood by Nicole Deese. The Princess Game by Melanie Sellier. And the last but not least, A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. And I did take one book actually off of this list, and that is Simple Gifts by June Spriggs. It was just no longer interesting to me, and so I decided to take it off of my list. So okay, and then this last portion, I guess, of this video is just how am I doing with my challenges. So briefly, for my series, I have 26 written down, and that's at time of filming right now. I didn't check to see how many I started at the beginning of the year. I just have my list right in front of me. So out of the 26, I completed, or I'm up to date in 5 of those, and then I've DNF'd 4 of those. Slowly making my way through. For reading around the world, I mean, I have like my little list here, and as you can see, I have a lot of more countries to do, but I'm really enjoying this series, so that's fun. And then of course the states I've visited. I mean, that's all I visited in books. The purple or last year's or years previous, and then the browns are ones that have gone this year. And I honestly have not been good at updating the state ones, but the same color coding goes for the around the world too. So in case you were curious, my biblical retelling challenge, you know, I'm up to date on that. I'm up to date on Journey Through Time right now. And so a challenge that I did complete is Princess Bride-a-thon by Katie at Paperbacks and Ponytail. I actually completed that on June 12th. So I'm gonna go through real quick the books that I did read for that. So for the first prompt, Princess Buttercup to read a book with red on the cover. For that, I read Shadow of the Storm by Connellan Cassette. Number 2 said this one left them all behind. That is a 5-star prediction, and for that I read The Queen's Cook. And if you've seen my videos, this didn't quite make the 5-star, but it was, I think, 4.5, so we were close. Number 3 was Wesley to read an adventure story, and for that I read Rescue by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Number 4 says As You Wish, a reader's choice, and for that I put The Golden Braid by Melanie Dickerson. Number 5 is Farm Boy, a borrowed book, and that I read The Girl from the Train. I think it's Irma Jobert. Number 6 is The Fire Swamp, a hot new release. For that I put Every Hour Until Then by Gabriel Meyer. Number 7 is MLT, Second Chance Romance. And this one I put A Girl's Guide to the Outback because one of the characters in that book has a second chance romance. Number 8 is Physique, Book of Poetry, and I put The House on Mango Street. Number 9 is Vizzini, Villain POV, and that I put Queen of Snow. 10, I'm Not a Witch, I'm Your Wife, Mistaken Identity, I put The Princess Pact. Number 11, ROUS, book over 500 pages, and that is The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. Number 12 is Anybody Want a Peanut? Is a buddy read, and for this I put The Mermaid's Tale, but I also had put Peter Pan in that one too because I technically buddy read that with my husband. 13, Country of Gilder, a fictional place, and I put Winnie the Pooh. 14, Iocane Powder, and that is an ebook or an audiobook, and so I put The Wonderland Trials by Sarah Ella. 15, Dread Pirate Roberts, a book with pirates, and that I put Peter Pan. And then Indigo Montoya finished a series, and that is The Lockett's Revenge by Ellie Richmond. Sorry, I forgot to come in and tell you who all of these are from. And then, last but not least, Buzzword-a-thon. And for that, out of all the, I'm doing both the word, like finding the words for your titles, and then the cover prompts. And so out of all of them, I just need 7 more. So I'm not doing too bad. Okay, this was a little lengthy video, probably a lot more detailed than you were looking for, but I hope you enjoyed it and seen some of the books I've read. Let me know down in the comments below what is your favorite book or least favorite book, maybe most disappointing book. I would love to chat about that with you in the comments. And also let me know how your challenges are doing this year and if you participated in any of the challenges that I mentioned. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in another video. Bye guys.